what's up? It's Grace, and today I'm going to be doing the reader book tag, which was inspired by the book The Reader by Tracy Cheen, I think. I was sent this book by a Penguin teen, so I could do this tag, and then also I'll be doing a separate review when I read it. And this book follows this girl named Sephia, if I'm pronouncing her name right, and she lives in a world where reading has essentially become extinct, so basically like all of our worst nightmares. Like, don't sign me up for that world. Her father has been brutally murdered, and her aunt are on the run, and one day her aunt is kidnapped, and the only thing that Sephia has to find her is this rectangular object that happens to be a book. And hopefully it holds all the secrets and gives her, you know, guides her to where her aunt is, and she teams up with these pirates and this guy, and it just sounds very magical and awesome, and I'm so excited to read it. And in addition, this book is beautiful. I've seen it in pictures and on videos, but nothing really does it justice because in person the color is so vivid and also has a very cool texture, and the spine is gorgeous. So anyway, I'm excited to answer these questions, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Question number 1 is, oh, frick! So the first question is, in one word, describe being a reader. And this is an extremely hard question because how do you sum up being a reader in one word? It's kind of impossible. So I figured that I'd go with the word boundless, which is limitless. And I think that that's what being a reader is to me. There's no limit to what you can read. There's no limit to what you can learn about, you know, the characters you're learning about our world in general, about the people around us and ourselves. There is so many possibilities that come with reading, and I think that all those possibilities, they're boundless, endless. There's never like an end to reading. It's just this open road, I guess you can say. So yeah, I would say that being a reader is boundless. Question number 2 is, what is the very first book that you fell in love with? And the first book that I fell in love with that somebody read to me was The English Roses by Madonna, which is so funny because it's by Madonna. And it's just about this girl who, on the outside, she seems to have everything. She's beautiful and everyone loves her. And three or four girls are very jealous of her, and they think that she's a brat and she gets whatever she wants. But then they go to sleep and they have this dream where their fairy godmother shows them a glimpse into this perfect girl's life, and her life is not perfect. She doesn't have a mom, you know, she has to take care of her dad, and it just shows you that there's a lot more than meets the eye, and to not judge so quickly. And I remember getting a great message from that book. And then the books that really impacted me because I read them and I fell in love with them, and they invited me into this beautiful world of reading, and that is the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Those books showed me that there was just something so intriguing about like books that didn't have happy endings or happy beginnings or happy middles. I thought that was really cool, and I really felt for those characters, and it was just something that I had never even thought about before, and it was just a really amazing experience for me, and I will always love those books and cherish them for what they did for my life and reading. Question number 3 is hardbacks or paperbacks, and I love both. Like, on my shelf, those hardbacks look so nice, and this hardback looks so nice. But to personally read them, I love reading paperbacks because they're easy, and I also fold my books. Like, when I read them, you know, I fold them. I probably shouldn't, but it just makes it easier, I guess, and I love paperbacks because they're durable. I mean, hardbacks are obviously durable as well, but there's just something kind of homey about a paperback. You can just, I don't know, I just love paperbacks. So if I had to choose, it'd be paperback. Question number 4 is, how has reading shaped your identity? And reading has shaped my identity immensely in kind of like a little bit of a way. When I see people that I haven't seen in a long time from high school, and they follow my Instagram, or they know that I make YouTube videos dedicated to books, they see me outside in the real world and they're like, wow, you're not reading right now? You're basically a book. And I'm like, yeah, but life, I gotta do some life stuff now. So I think that when people see me, they automatically think books, and I think that's really cool. And then getting a little deeper, in my junior year of high school is when I became homeschooled, not because I didn't like school or anything, but just because I moved and it was easier for me to be homeschooled. My mom, basically my whole family, needed help raising my niece and nephew, which I was totally cool with. Like, I get to stay home, go to school once a week, and I get to be with my niece and nephew 24/7, so I didn't really think that that was a bad thing, and it wasn't, because homeschooling has helped me a lot, and I got to meet this amazing librarian, and she showed me all these books because I had stopped reading for a couple years, and you know, in the homeschool program that I was in, there was this beautiful librarian, and she showed me all these amazing books. Anyway, I was isolated in kind of myself, and I didn't go out a lot, and so that made me scared to go out on the times that I had to go get food or go do the everyday things, and that just made me really anxious, and it should never make me anxious because I did that to myself, like isolating myself. You know, one day I just started reading more, and it made me want to experience life, and it made me more curious about the world, even more curious than I already was, and it just made me love people and want to get an understanding of people and just always question everything. And so reading has just really made me the person I am, and I owe everything to reading and to the people that have helped me in the path to reading. Question number 5 is, what book do you read when you feel you need to be comforted? And my go-to reread is The Prisoner of Azkaban by, of course, J.K. Rowling, which happens to be my favorite Harry Potter book, but also The Mortal Instruments, and those are my 2 favorite series. I go back to them because they are home. They are home. There's no other way to describe it, because those books are like everything to me. Even like the smell of them. If I'm not feeling good, I just go and I smell the book and I'm like Hogwarts, or I go and I smell City of Bones and I'm like the Institute. But yeah, those books are just like my life and my home. Question number 6 is, who taught you to be a reader? And my 2nd and 3rd grade teacher, Miss Adams, taught me basically to be a reader, and she was such an amazing teacher. She pushed all of her students to read and she always read to us in class, and she was so animated when she read, and she made reading so exciting. And I really, if I ever see her one day, I want to thank her so much. But we had these things called accelerated reading points, where you would get a book from the library, you'd read it, and then you'd go on the program and you'd test on it to see how well you read the book and you comprehended everything. And she really pushed me to excel in that program, and I pushed to be number 1 because I had to be number 1 just because I was that kid that always needed to be number 1. But also, it made reading so much more exciting, and so I owe her crazily for making me a reader. She did. She introduced me to books, and she introduced me to the series of Unfortunate Events when she read the first book in class, and I remember her reading the first chapter, and it was so cool. So after school, I immediately was like, Mom, we need to go to the bookstore. I need to get this entire series. And I don't think the last book was out just yet, and so I had to wait, but I owe her for me being a reader, because I don't think if I didn't have her as a teacher, I don't think reading would be as exciting as she made it seem, or reading wouldn't seem to me as exciting as it is, because she made it so exciting. And yeah, so I owe her, definitely. Question number 7 is, describe your dream reading lounge. And my dream reading lounge is very simple. I just want a big, gigantic window, and that it curves inward. Have you ever seen those houses that, like, I used to live in a house that had it. And then just a window seat. And then that is my ideal reading lounge. Also, I wish it would rain 24/7, so maybe it's not so simple, because the weather god's gotta fix stuff. But anyway, that is my dream reading lounge. And the last question is, what book has made you change the way you see the world? And I remember reading Looking for Alaska by John Green. Definitely not my favorite book of his, but I remember reading this quote that's, I don't know if I can get it word for word, but it said that I came to believe that people believed in religion because they couldn't bear not to. They couldn't bear the thought of there being like this nothingness after death. And I remember just reading that and then sitting down and really thinking about that quote, and it just really impacted me because I was raised in a Christian family, and I never thought otherwise. Like, I always thought there was a God, and I'm never ever gonna deny that there isn't, because I don't know, but I'm just so more open to the idea of a lot of things because of that quote. And I love learning about different religions because they're very interesting. I'm not I don't know, I'm not religious. I just don't really know, honestly. I'm at the point in my life where I'm not sure, and I think that's okay, but I just remember that book really influenced me to question it, which I never thought I would. So that was the reader book tag. I really enjoyed answering all those questions. If any of you want to do this tag, please do so, because I think it's just really fun to answer all those, because you kind of like learn stuff while you're answering them. Anyway, if you want to tell me any of your answers in the comments, comments, I would love to hear them and have a little conversation. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!